Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Wednesday, May 17th, 2022, and today is going to be a big day. That's right, I'm talking about drilling into my engine block. Yes, as a matter of fact, this is my engine block that we're going to be drilling into. Excuse the sound, okay? The reason is because this microphone is pointing at the engine. It's not near where I am. And I have another camera in here as well. So that way there, when I do this job, you guys are going to get a heck of a view. You know, so this is how it's going to work. All right, this is going to be a dangerous one. I have some notes here because this is kind of important. There's a lot of things I want to cover about this video. So, as you know, I'm scared to death to do this. I've been putting this off for a couple of days. All right, so all the video footage that you're about to see, right as I stop talking here, and I should get to it, that I've done in the last couple of days or whatever, right? And at the end of that video, it's time to work on that engine. That's right, it's time to work on the engine. And man, I'm scared to drill a hole in it. And I would think a lot of guys are scared to drill a hole in it. And then you want to make sure, geez, am I going to do it right? So the middle of the video is me, you know, Mercedes recommends using Heli-Coil. The manual was written, you know, I don't know, 1987, right? So times have changed, and there's Time-Serts that people are using for all kinds of things. The machinist that I'm in conversation with says 80% of what he does is Time-Sert and not Heli-Coil. But that said, I had already bought the Heli-Coil, and I thought, I think I should test. I want to see for myself. I see videos on the internet where they see, does it have as much torque? Okay, so it does. Great. You guys know that? Go watch all those videos. I'm a little bit more concerned about the reconstruction of my car. You know, how is my car going to not only perform after my repair, but how's it going to look to the naked eye and everything, right? I mean, those are some things that are important to me. I want to know how well it works and how nice it looks. How does it look original? Can you make a hole that you're drilling larger than the original hole look the same as the original hole and perform better than the original hole? So which one of these products does it? We'll see. I already know what I'm going to do on this engine. You guys don't necessarily, but we're going to go. I'm going to be just going live. I'm not going to go. The other footage is me just testing these different ways and why I like one way over the other and why I went one way. So you're going to know all that, but I want to just do it like as if it was live. I'm just going to go from here and I'm going to walk right over there while you guys are watching that middle footage, and we're going to pick up from right at this point. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, we're going to come back to this. So now, before I do that, let's do this. Like I said, I wrote down some things I think is quite important. So upcoming videos, right? I'm going to be measuring the crankshaft. We want to measure all the journals in the crankshaft, including for the rod journals. And we got to inspect the bearing clearances and all those kinds of things. So, you know, what are we going to do, right? So we got to do that. The cylinder head reassembly, I'm going to be lapping those valves. You guys got to stick around for that, see what the heck happened. We're going to pressure test that. Then we're going to start installing that crankshaft. That's right, because after we've measured everything and we think everything's good, we pray that everything's good, we're going to start putting it all back together. Oh, and then there's a secret video coming, you guys. Oh, you won't even believe this. Oh. So I'm just going to hold that, right? So we're going to hold that thought that's coming. And then we're going to be installing the pistons and the connecting rods. And like I said, a little special surprise in between that's going to blow you guys away. It blows me away. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, because, you know, not only a thumbs up, but you got to subscribe, click the bell, because I'm going to be starting this beast right behind me. I'm going to try to start it, and you guys can be a part of that whole experience. If it starts, hooray. If it doesn't, what do? I don't know. There's all kinds of guys out there thinking I might blow it up or something. You know, I don't have that many subscribers, but hey, if I had enough subscribers, yeah, I could do that. I could do that because, you know, this has been, I don't know, I think it's taking some time off my life. All right, so hey, any links to any tools that I use in this video, I put down below. So let's see, what else can we do? I think we just get going, and then you guys, when you come back, I'll be right here exactly in this spot, and I'm going to walk right over there in real time. That's right. So here I go. Oh my God. So regardless whether you use a Time-Sert or Heli-Coil or any other type of thread repair that requires an insert, you're going to need certain tools. So like an inexpensive caliper like that will work just fine. This is not a $28 one. This is a much cheaper one, but I hate it. You can't lock it. It has no locking or anything on it, so I don't like it. This is a very inexpensive tap holder, which also can work on the drill bit, and as well as the Time-Serts. They have a square top to them, so you can use that. There's other things you can use, but this is nice and inexpensive, you know, 12 bucks. But either way, the Heli-Coil is going to be much cheaper. There's no doubt about it than the Time-Sert. The Time-Sert's $104, and you're only going to get 5 inserts. These are cast, you know, metal steel inserts, I should say. And I'm not positive exactly what this is, but I thought this it was stainless. Regardless, for the work that I'm doing, you can't, neither one of these sizes is going to fit. So, but you can see this is a lot less expensive. This drill is the exact same size drill that they have in the Time-Sert kit. So it's a 13/32 drill bit. But I also need to get some other stuff too, because I haven't decided, but you know, Mercedes by default, they ship this vehicle's heads. You see where those 2 missing bolts are? I took them out because inside of those bolts right there are Heli-Coil. Yeah, can you believe it? Right from the factory, and they don't even break the little tangs off. In fact, almost all their documentation recommends Heli-Coil. Of course, you know, for my particular case, that was 35 years ago, so things have changed. We have Time-Serts these days. We have all kinds of different types of new technologies. And as a matter of fact, when you try to look up that part number, you can't find that part number anywhere. So you have to do your research. You kind of have to use your head a little bit, and you'll notice that it ends in a 2-0. So that's kind of one little clue. If that Heli-Coil threaded insert, the M10, so we already know what we're working with. And we also know the tap is an M10. Unfortunately, I couldn't find that particular part. But like I said in another video, they go on and they kind of tell you how to do it. You know, about what size it is. It's either twice the thread diameter or 11 threads. So, you know, I kind of did my math and everything. And they even tell you how deep to drill the hole. So this is an ongoing issue with the car. And like I showed in my other video, you know, this is the drill depth. They tell you everything to do for the Heli-Coil. That's kind of how it works. So it's going to be a 20 millimeter insert. That's what we're going to use, is a 20 millimeter. So I purchased the Time-Sert 10 millimeter, and I went ahead with stainless steel. Not that this would be a problem where it's located. I'm only doing one of them. So this is kind of quite an expensive thread repair. But it's an education for me. It's, you know, I've never done it before, as you guys know. My machinist, or I don't know why I keep calling him my machinist, but the machinist that I've been in conference with told me 80% of what he does, he uses Time-Sert over the Heli-Coil. So while there's a big difference in the cost, you know, I've kind of doubled that because I bought everything, right? But no matter what, like I said, you're going to need the tap oil, and this oil is wow. I think it's really good. So, and I've done quite a bit of little drilling and metal and thing like that around here. Otherwise, I think all these tools, regardless if you go with the Heli-Coil or you go with the Time-Sert, you're going to be okay. But since I've never done this before, I thought it'd be a smart idea if I went ahead and do a test for myself. I'm not gonna like waste your time on the test part, but I went ahead and I drilled a hole. Matter of fact, you remember where I had this other hole in another video that I did on cleaning the mating surfaces. So that is actually drilled at the 1332 over here, right? So that's why this bag is like that. I drilled that hole so it's already ready because I was going to try to practice doing a Heli-Coil, right? Because that was originally, I bought this Heli-Coil very early on because I knew that thread was stripped, and I knew they recommended Heli-Coil. So, but times have changed and people tell me new things, and so, but I have seen Heli-Coil used in all kinds of different things, so I didn't throw my money away. And I also want to learn how each process is done for myself, and I'll share that with you, but I'm just not going to like get too detailed with it. But anyway, you can see closely here that I've already, let me get rid of that graphic here. If you look, you can see the threads. So now I'm going to actually purposely strip that. Before I strip these threads, this is my chase kit, which I'll put a link in the description as well because I think it's a valuable tool and you need it. But I wanted to show you that, you know, you have to be careful with the bolts that you purchase. So we'll zero this out. Well, it's on 2, right? We'll open it up. Put this on here, about like this here. About 9.38. You see the difference in measurement? So, you know, I think, you know, if you buy cheap bolts, low quality bolts, you're going to get a cheap fit, and that's how you strip out bolts. You can see when I put this in the chase, there you go. That's a good representation of it. Compared to, here's a high quality bolt. And you can see when I put that in, there's no play. No play at all. Right? I mean, if there is, it's very little play. And that's on the chase. And the measurement of this actually comes out exactly the same as a Mercedes head bolt when I just tested recently. Yeah, right about there, about an 8, yep, 9.78. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just take this one, we're going to strip that nice so the bolt slips easy. I have all these Beasley clamps, right, because I do some woodwork in my garage, and I have all these Beasley clamps holding a 2x4 on this one side here, and then a little smaller one so you guys could get a view if this thing will break. I'm not so sure it's going to break. My whole table went, huh? I mean, it moved. Not that it went anywhere, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold it here. Not going to be able to hold that in there and bust it. But you guys get the idea, right? I'm going to go bust this thing and I'll be back. Alright, just so you guys know, this is what I was using, right? This is a 3/4 inch breaker bar. And I put a reducer on there to go down to a 1/2 inch. You know, and it took a lot of torque, right? I could probably break it with this, but it's popping out of my bench. So, what about that big boy? Let's see. I'll just put it on tighten and see what we can do. There it is. Wow, man, you guys will never believe how awesome the aluminum is. Look at that. That's what an impact will do, though. Of course, I probably should have just kept. Something's gonna fatigue. I was surprised, though, that this aluminum was enough to take it down, but it was. But that was my first time drilling and putting in threads, so that was pretty good. I re-tapped it, or I ran the chase through it and it was kind of dull. And then I ran it. Now what I want you guys to notice, do you notice this little ridge at the top right there? See that? You know, if you were to lay something across there, you could tell that, you know, those are high points. That is a tall tail right there. That tells me that that's somewhere has been compromised, right? Because that's how we were pulling from the inside. So these are threads basically. So if you see that on your engine, you know that's probably compromised. Be close attention, because you see how nice after re-threading that? I mean, it goes in there like butter, and it don't have any wiggle either. So I'm really surprised that I was totally unable to use that, and now it's like right back to normal. I mean, it's good and strong. Interesting. You might want to go ahead and deck that. Make sure, you know, with a flat thing, make sure she's nice and decked like this other one. See how nice that is? That's what you want. I just took this outside. I wanted to get it out of the shop because, you know, I'm just about ready to get into the bottom end assembly, so don't want any metal shavings around in the shop at least. So I took it outside, and what I did on the drill, this drill allows you, in this particular tap holder, you can hold it in a drill. For your first time, I say do it, because this was really easy to drill out by hand. It only took me a couple of minutes, not even minutes, probably 30 seconds, and it did a very good job. The only imperfection is from the stress out from before, right? I think the hole came out really great. So I like that. So both these holes actually are tapped to that size, regardless if you're using Heli-Coil or you're going to be using the Time-Sert. Now, the recommendation for this repair says you have to go 2 millimeters below the surface. The Heli-Coil kit comes with that. So that's what we'll be using, and it's guided, and it can only go so deep. If you'll notice, there's a depth. Do you see that little, of course I can point it out with a green arrow once I get it here. I'll hold it right there, and then I'll take a snapshot of that. But yes, it's right there with that little ledge. And so that means this thing can only go in so far. So turn, 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 boom, 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 boom. And it's going to cut that for us, right? Yep, it looks like we're at that depth, right? Because it's not cutting anymore. So that's a nice one. I would blow that out, obviously, but let's go see if I can. There we go. Now the next thing we're supposed to do is tap it. I'm going to go ahead and do that outside. I gotta say, tapping that hole was sure easy. But look, after it's all cleaned and everything, you see how nice that fits below, right? Just perfectly below that. So I like that. And I think it's really a good idea to go like this on the bottom of that thing. Make sure she's doesn't have any burrs or anything like that, because you did use a cutting tool. I'll show you how nice the threads came out. There we are. There's the repair. Did it by hand, not with a drill press or anything like that. I just think that's the way to do it when you don't know what you're doing. Or I should say, at least when you've never done it before. The instructions say to put oil on your tool. There's the tool. See the shape? I'm going to put the same tap magic. It doesn't really require, you know, that much. Thread it on there like that. Just all I did was just put it on. Now I'm going to try to thread it in. Move it a little bit. There we go. Pretty easy so far. Look at that. I'm just doing this, as you can see. Right? I'm just nothing there. Okay, and then it says, you know, you'll start to feel it get hard, and I'm starting to feel that. And it said to keep on going until it gets easy again. Oh, I see. It gets actually much harder. I see. It says it'll get easier. And it did. All right. And that's it. And I mean, it's nice and easy now. So I did come through, right? With the tool. Which is how this type of hole would work. Now, the kind of hole we're going to be doing, actually, the repair I'm going to be doing, not we, you guys aren't going to be here to help me. But I'm going to be, that's a blind hole. Now I want to just try that. Let's see how our Time-Sert did. Nice job. Look at that. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That feels like it was just machined. Ooh, that is smooth, and yet there's no slop. Look at that. No slop at all. No slop. I can't Can't get anything out of that. Any direction. Up, down, back and forth. And yet when I do this, look at that. Woo! Yeah! That is nice! My very first ever. So, you know what? I want to see what it's like to do a Heli-Coil. Just thought I'd show how that came out. I thought it came out really well. See how it's just below the top of the surface? So the Time-Sert tool, the way that it comes, I would say would be perfect for doing your heads or anything like that. I want to say that, you know, I know some guys put Loctite around that. I chose not to. Same thing, if I was going to use a Heli-Coil, I wouldn't use Loctite because you're actually breaching it when you use Loctite. But if you use Loctite or any of that other stuff, or regardless, I say after you do it, I should clear my hand, is you should go ahead and chase it. That way there you know everything's clean and there's nothing left behind. Your insert was also clean because there could be a manufacturing issue. So you want to just make sure that you can chase your bolts. Once you've done that, your existing bolts should go right on in. And you know, aluminum's pretty strong. You guys saw me with that big 3/4 inch breaker bar. And I end up breaking the bolt. I want to go ahead now and try to do the Heli-Coil part of this. So it too has its own tap. And I'm not going to do it indoors. I'm going to do it outside. I'll be back. So that package comes with instructions. I wish I would have known that. I tried to look for just instructions online. Not that I needed it. You know, there's all kinds of videos and everything. I just wanted to present it, that's all. But basically you drill it, you tap it, you insert it, and that's about it. It's basically the same as the Time-Sert, right? Except you want to break off that tang at the end of it. Just in case you're wondering, this tap and the Time-Sert tap are different sizes. The Time-Sert tap is actually a little smaller than this tap. I just wanted to point that out. So we're going to go ahead and cut the threads in that using their tap, and then we'll insert it using their tool. Okay, so now that I've used the tap from the Time-Sert and from the Heli-Coil, I can tell you what, this tap is not that great. It's about the quality of my Harbor Freight. It was difficult. I used oil, but it was difficult. It was hard to turn. The other one, the Time-Sert, I'm telling you, it was like butter. Like butter. Machine quality. Alright, so now this is all cleaned out and ready to go. You can see it's all clean. I did not put a recess in it. And then here's my Time-Sert, my installation tool. And basically you just thread it in using your tool here. You don't use oil on this one. This part of the installation so far is just as easy. And we'll want to go just below the top of the surface. Supposedly that's all you have to do. So right there I think is about where we are. And then that's it, supposedly. I might have gone a little bit below this. No, it's not too bad, but maybe a little bit below the surface. So supposedly now you break off that tang using a center punch of some sort. I can see the tang in there. You guys can't, but I can. Seemed like that popped. We'll see. Take it out of there. There's the tang. So there's our repair. Let's see. There's that repair. I'd say it feels pretty much the same. Up and down, back and forth. I'd say that that's a repaired thread. And it too. Look at that, see? That's a really clean looking repair job. I can see why in the early days, you know, that was the thing. Look how nice and clean that is. It's below the top just about the same, maybe a little bit more than the other one. That's my fault. It's my first time ever doing it. But it's a nice clean look. I mean, you know, in comparison, right? It almost looks like nothing's been done here. That's the kind of repair that one does. So there's advantages and disadvantages, you know. If you want to keep a factory looking look, I'm almost thinking this is the way to go. That looks more factory than this. I mean, of course, this has a shoulder. It's a different design, different idea. But I don't know, I like it. I would have to say they're equally as good. The difference was the quality of the tools, not the quality of the outcome. I think the outcome was equal. This looks like a smaller hole and everything, but it's not. It's just that this one here has the chamfer, and this one does not. I like it. I like the Heli-Coil just as much as I like the Time-Sert. I don't know about you guys, but that's my opinion right now. The Time-Sert is just easier to install, and I kind of like the whole idea of how it works with the shoulder and everything. You know, that's kind of a neat idea, having a shoulder. Not bad at all. I like it. All right, well, guess what? You know, now that we've done this, and we like both ways. I mean, the tooling I like better, and we're going to go with the nice Time-Sert, obviously, but I still like the Heli-Coil. So don't give Heli-Coils a bad name. I think they're great. There's nothing wrong with it. This tap could be a better quality tap. You give me a better quality tap, because it was rough. It was rough going. But man, that Time-Sert tap, just like butter. It was wonderful. I haven't tried their drill bit yet. I just used the Cobalt, the Bosch Cobalt, and I did it by hand. And it was easy, like butter as well. All right, so now you guys know my opinion on these two. I have to get over here now and do that engine block. And I'm going to walk right over there in real time. That's right. So here I go. Oh my God. That's right. I've been up for hours, you guys. I've been up for hours contemplating this because it scares me to death for what I'm about to do. I'm going to be drilling that engine block. Oh. You know, I took my blood pressure this morning. Oh, here's another thing. I think there might be COVID in my household. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my daughter's friend, his brother's got COVID. And they're all here. That's right, they're all sleeping inside the house. I see them all taking tests. I see that they're not going to school, and I see they're not going to work. So, so if I die, okay, here's the deal. I found there's a couple things that could happen. Right now, I could have a heart attack when I do this. But if I don't post a video on Saturday, okay, just leave you with that thought. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I got my gloves on, so we're going to switch the camera. That's all I'm doing. And, I got to switch the microphone, kind of. There's another mic over there. All right, so this is all in real time. I'm walking over here, and here I am. Oh, my goodness. So, what have I done at this point? So, Mercedes, and I can put up that little graphic. Mercedes says you're going to go ahead and drill 27 millimeters deep. So, the first thing, you want to do is I want to see, geez, are they that deep right now? So, I'm going to zero it out, and I found that they're actually deeper than that, so that's cool, right? But I think the Mercedes manual says something to the effect, yeah, I'm at 30. 29 point whatever. You guys can't see it, but it's, here it is. It is whatever that is. All right, 29.42. So they say 27. So what I did, in that video, that's right, you guys. In that video, you guys saw me do these, right? Well, like I said, I was still kind of scared. So I did another one, which is what this one is, to those specs. I wanted to make sure that the drill depth of 27, right, and then the tap depth, Time-Sert says basically you just put the tap in until, to the end of your thread on a blind hole. And then a 20 millimeter Time-Sert being dropped. How well does that actually perform? So, I wasn't sure, so I went ahead and I did it, right? So this is to these specs. So if it comes out as good as it did in my test block, then I'm okay. All right, so what I've done is I've measured it, and you see I've got that's at 27 millimeters. And I did that for the tap, and I did that for the insert tool. Okay, so now my job is to try to keep this straight, and I went ahead and I taped all this stuff off, and we'll see. I've already blown this out. I already have a thing, so, right, we know all that's good. Now, I got my tap oil, which is what I use for drilling as well. And I'm just going to put some in here. I like that. It's just as good as on the outside. So here we go. You can feel it. Hopefully I don't get in your way, because this is scary stuff, right? I mean, my wife is saying, have you done it yet? And I'm going, no, babe, I'm scared to death. I am scared to death. I'm going to go ahead and clean out the thread. Okay. See where I'm at. Put a little bit more oil on there. So I have the engine sitting on not inner tubes, but tires without rims, and then some pads. We're getting close. That is pretty much it right there. Let's check it. It's definitely to 27, but I'm gonna double check it with this, because I know for a fact that this is measured, and I know, yep, we're good. So I wouldn't go any more than that. So I'm gonna pull it out. Whoops, that's my fault. We'll make sure I know, obviously, you know, I can go in a little bit deeper because it'll allow it, but oh, I went too far. So that's why I did it. All right. So that's what I did with the original. Okay. So the next step is to cut the recess using the recess tool. Again, I'm going to lubricate the edge here, in there, and this, the tool itself. What's really cool about this too, see, it's got this collar, right? So it fits in the hole. I mean, it's almost impossible, right, that you can't get that right. You guys are giving me the confidence to do this because I'm scared. And I said, you know, there's no way I can just, like, abandon people. You know? You can't abandon people because you're scared. Or abandon, you know, you'd be abandoning yourself, really, if you don't do that kind of stuff. You know, you could use WD-40. You don't have to use this kind of fluid. I like it just because, I don't know why I like it. There's no special reason, because I'm not real familiar with other things. I have actually done this before in something else a long time ago when I was a kid. All right, let's check our depth. And if you remember in that video, we take our insert, which in this case is our stainless steel insert, and there's stuff in there, so still some stuff there, I see. Take our insert. I hope you guys can see that thing seems to be a little bit shy of all the way. Yep. There we go. Now I can tell. Uh-oh, did you hear me sniff? Uh-oh. Oh, gosh. Now, let's take a look at that. Nah. You know, for good measure, I'm going to double check, because I want to see like a little bit of a scraping around that edge, which tells me that my tool was completely seated on that edge. So, I mean, that's the way I'm going to do it. I should also mention that Time-Sert puts their tools in the order of use in this little case. Okay? So you notice you're cutting this in at first, and that makes it easier to tap it. Well, we must be all the way, because you can see there's no more cutting. Okay, so you can see you can't overdo it with this tool. Just lubricate it and make sure it's clean. You know, that you're seeing all the way down on it. So, because I've done it a couple times now, right? I wouldn't call myself an expert. Not yet. Not yet. This scares me. Alright, I'm going to throw a little bit of brake clean in there. Kind of want to make sure that everything's kind of out of there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Next is our tap. Let's put this away. I'm kneeling down over here because this thing's not tall enough. But I felt like it was a good leverage for me. I don't know if the camera's picking me up or not, but alright, so I've got my tap all set, and again, you can see I've got a mark. I don't know, it's a white mark, so you guys might not be able to see that one. But it's going to bottom out probably anyways, so it really doesn't matter. Alright. I don't know if you guys can see or tell, but this tap is so awesome. I mean, there's hardly any drag. I like to give it, there we go. I'm going to go ahead, no, not yet. You don't want to kind of pull it out a little too early. Oh gosh, I can't believe I said that. But you don't. And the reason is because you don't want to put it back in, you might cross thread it. You just want to clean it out. That's what these areas are for. They're designed to take that much stuff, so you really don't have to back it all the way out. And these are such nice taps, I'm telling you. Oh gosh, it's unbelievable how nice it is. Once I got like at least 3/4 of the way through, I am going to pull it out, and then because I want to get all that stuff off of there. I don't know if I should really, but I will. I did do that with everything else that I did, and it worked, so. You know, you can see all the stuff on there, so it never hurts to clean your tool. And I'm just using a little brush here. It's not that great, but it works. There we go. That's it. Now we got it. You know, I know there's guys that do like really fast and all that, but you know, this is my first time. Really? So alright, now we know where we gotta go. Yep, right where she bottoms out, right there. That's right where that was, right? Make double sure. Yep. There we go. Perfect. All right. See how much more there was to cut? So that's why I wanted to do that. I knew it. All right, so now let's clean that out. I would show you guys, but then you'd think I cut away. So I'm not gonna do that. You're gonna see what I see. Did I go all the way through? Nope, I didn't go all the way through, so that's good. All right. Let's clean it out with a little bit of brake fluid here. Now I have some super goggles, right? So I'm just going to inspect that hole. You know, I'm right here. Might as well inspect it before I get too deep. I also got a light source that I can click on it. I want to check everything out. Alright, I would say that, my friend, is looking sweet. Alright, why don't I go ahead, I'm just going to, look, I'm in real time. You guys know I'm in real time. All I'm going to do is pull out my phone, right, and I'll take a picture of where I'm at. So that way there, you know, we can do it. Alright, let's go like this, pull up my picture, because I think that came out pretty darn good. Alright, let's get that in there. Want to get a nice little shot like that. Not bad. Nah, where is it? There we go. Alright, so there's that. Next step. Alright, so we've got it all cleaned out, and now we're ready to put in our insert. So, sorry guys, these little metal shavings that still end up on the floor, I kneeled down on. Alright, so here's our insert. And this is our installation tool. And I marked it. Okay. You oil this. That's more than enough. Put that in your wrench or your hand tap. I want to make sure that my Time-Sert is free of any debris. So I'm going to squirt it with a little bit of brake clean over here on the side. And I'm going to blow it off. Alright. So, now we have our tool. Just make sure I got it lubricated. I know I put it on there, but... Alright. We'll put that on our tool. Did I, there's one, you remember one step that I did in the other one? I want to make sure that I did it on this one. And that is to take this and turn it upside down and push to make sure there's no burrs. There we go. I think that that's a smart step. And the whole purpose behind this oil, I think, is just so this comes out. Because I think you're going to hear it. Alright, so I'm just going to put this on the tool. So I think you're going to actually hear it. So there it goes. So just listen closely. I'm not sure. I want to change to my regular glasses here. Here we go. See how easy that is? The shape, though, I think it's bigger as it gets up there. And it spreads out that thing to the proper dimension. And then embeds right there. That's where she starts to get hot. Or hard, I should say. So now, we just keep turning. We already know how deep we can go. There, she got free. You can feel it. And of course you can go, till you feel it. Like that. So I know that I'm at that level right now, so should come right out. We should have a repaired thread. From what I understand, right guys? Based on all the tests that we run, we should be at a premium level at this point. We should have a great thread repair. The shape of this thing is what makes that weird. So that's not the actual thread. It's easy now. I can release this. Oh, not that side. Alright, so there's that. Let's clean her up. Get the oil out of there. I just want to blow it first. Now I'm going to spray it with a little bit of brake clean. Blow it out again. Then, where's my camera? What did I do with my camera? There it is. I want to get a shot of this because, I'm occupying those cameras and I'm just proving to you guys that I did it. Alright, so let's see. Oh, look at this. Not bad. I don't think it has to really be 2 millimeters below the surface, does it? Alright, so that's that. I think that looks pretty good. Now, the next step, before you do anything, I feel, is to take out your thread repair tool. The Chase, the 10.15 Chase. That way there, you're going to clean off any of the junk that could have been left behind, any of the machining, mismachining. Look at that, guys. All the way. Woohoo! We did it. Oh my gosh, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. Ugh. And here is a real bolt. Not the actual bolt that's going to go in it, but a real bolt. So that's it. Now I'm going to walk over there. You guys are going to see it. All this is in real time. And I'm pretty darn excited about it. You're going to see I'm sweating and everything. I was so scared. Whoops, I'm going to fall over all my hoses. And oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Ah, oh, look at my hair and everything. Guys, that was scary. But I did it. I actually did it. I mean, I repaired my engine block. I didn't mess it up. Oh my gosh, but you know what? There's an upcoming video about pistons and rings. Whoa! Well, I might mess something up there. We'll see about that. But look at that. There's the bolt. I mean, I'm looking at it just like you guys are looking at it. I did it. You know, so that's that. Let's see, gosh, is there anything I'm supposed to say at the end of this video other than, oh my God, I finally did it. And now I can go take a nap? Oh my gosh. Yeah, the last couple of days I've been getting up like at 2:30, 3:30. You can ask my buddy Dave. You know, that's my buddy Dave over there, as a matter of fact. That guy right there, that's Dave. Yes, that's Dave. He owns a comedy club downtown here in my city of Chandler, Arizona. And you guys should just come out and visit me. I'm there almost every single Saturday night, that's for sure. Come to a 9 o'clock show and be blown away by some of these guys that are over there. And you'll have a fun time, you know. I'll get you a buy one, get one free. Maybe, yeah, I might even spot you, right? Because I do the lights and sound over there. That's right, I do that. I love it. I love it. Look at me sweat. Oh, it just dripped. So, all right, well, I did it. You know, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm going to go have some lunch, an early lunch, like a really early lunch. But I'm glad to get this behind me. It's early in the day. I have a whole day ahead of me. I feel really confident. I can go on to the next thing, which is not so scary, but it's going to be time consuming. All right, you guys. Hey, I appreciate it. And hey, thanks for watching.